I want to show you some examples of the next assignment and also go over the assignment with you. So this week you're actually going to be setting up your own types of light in your own home using some inexpensive materials that you may already have at home, or you can purchase by going to like Walgreens or Michael's or something like that. You need your camera and your tripod, various lenses, whichever lenses you have. This is really going to be best if you have one or two assistants. You're going to be taking some portraits and you're going to need someone to sit for you for that. And it's also really helpful if you have somebody to hold the reflector or the diffuser for you, maybe even to help you set things up. So the things that you're going to need to buy from Walmart or from Hobby Lobby or Michael's, you need you'll need 3 sheets of foam board. The display board that they have, and you need to buy a roll of craft paper. It's very inexpensive. It comes in a roll, and you need to have some sheer white fabric or a shower curtain. And if you get a shower curtain, get the diffused. You may also want optional a black shower curtain. Some gold spray paint, and silver spray paint is optional, just if you want to try it. You need 3 clamp lights with bulbs, and you need things like some spring clamps, or you can just use clothespins. Large rubber bands also work. Things to measure with, things to cut with, duct tape, and push pins, tape. Things that you have around the house. Okay, so watch all the videos very closely that I provided for you this week. They all have really good tips, and follow all the instructions for all of those. Use aperture priority on your camera so that you can emphasize depth of field. You need to use a tripod on all of these, and of course shoot in RAW. You can go ahead and just set your white balance to auto. If you're using a tripod, you definitely want to make sure your ISO is as low as possible. If you're hand holding, you do need to make sure that your shutter speed is no slower than a 60th of a second. And even if you're shooting with a tripod for portraits, your shutter speed should be no slower than a 60th of a second. So you're going to need to raise your ISO accordingly, so that shutter speed is not too slow. Okay, so you're adjusting your shutter speed by raising your ISO, raising or lowering your ISO. When you take portraits, make sure that your subject fills the frame. You can even get really close and crop their head if you want. And we're going to try a various combination of diffused and direct lighting on your subject. One thing about taking pictures of people is you always want to focus on their eyes. One of the ways to know it, that if it's in focus, is if their eyelashes. If you can see the individual eyelashes, then they are in focus. Always have a shower curtain or some kind of backdrop, and make sure that your subject is not too close to the backdrop. Otherwise, it won't come out blurry, and it'll be distracting. Okay, raise the light slightly above your subject eyes if at all possible, and place the light behind your subject aimed at the backdrop. Okay, so let me just start. I've got all these different slides, as I do every week, for you to try, and I'm just going to show you examples while I discuss them. So that the first is you're going to put your subject facing a window. And when I say frontal, I mean the light is frontal. Okay, so your subject is actually facing the light source. So you're kind of in between you're kind of in between your subject and the light. find a way to get that to work. I thought these were all beautiful examples, and look at how close the photographers got to their subjects. Okay, side lighting. I don't mean for you to take a profile of your subject. I've had a lot of students misunderstand. I mean that I want your subject to be facing the camera, but I want you to turn your subject so that the light is hitting one side of their face. And this is window light. Okay, then I want you to try window lighting with backlighting, and this may be a nice opportunity to try some diffused light if you happen to have a sheer curtain, a curtain sheer, is that what they're called? Window sheer. That'll kind of soften up the background a little bit. You may get kind of a silhouetted effect. And make sure you use spot metering on your camera so that it's measuring light from your subject's face and not from the background. Okay, then I want you to use your clamp lights to create some direct light. Some of these are not going to look as good as others, because one of the things I want to do is have have a source for comparison. I want you to see the difference between direct and diffused light. So generally we don't want direct light just shining straight on our subject's face, but I want you to try it anyway. Okay. Then I want you to try diffused frontal light. Can you see the difference? Same exact subject, same exact setup. Diffused, direct. See how you've got glare, and you've got some glary and some really harsh shadows, and look at how softer the highlights and shadows are. Then I want you to try the same thing with the light from the side. And again, I don't mean a profile of your subject. I mean you move the light to their side. Okay? Direct light coming on the side of her face here. It's not always a bad thing. But look at how much softer it is when it's diffused. Makes a huge difference. So you just look at the comparisons on these. Okay. Outdoor. On a cloudy day, using a reflector, and again frontal, so you're going to have your subject holding the reflector. You can really tell on this one, she's got that nice glow. Okay, so they're kind of facing the light, but the light is cloudy, so that means that the light is diffused. Okay, cloudy days are great for portraits because the light is diffused. Okay. And then turn your subject so that the light is coming from the side, again, golden hour, right? Sun low in the sky, so that you can get that light bouncing off the side of their face and have them hold the reflector so that it can fill in, the light, the shadows below. Okay, and then in bright sunlight, same thing. And I think you're going to find that it's a lot more harsh. When you go out there in bright sunlight, some of these are really, really harsh. Okay, and then have them turn. And if it is in bright sunlight, it's always better if the light is hitting the side of their face than frontal. And that's what I'm hoping that you'll understand. Is if you compare the picture of this girl with the light facing her face frontally to this one where the light's coming in on the side, it's really much better. Okay, and then try a backlit. This is perfect if you do it late in the day when the sun is kind of low in the sky. Okay, generally I always tell you guys not to shoot into the sun, but sometimes we're trying to get that silhouette effect. And a lot of times with your subjects who have a lot of hair, like curly hair in particular, you get this amazing halo effect that you can only get with black lighting. I just have to say I love this girl's t-shirt. I just think that's great. Okay, and then finally we have our product photography. And so I thought these were some good examples. I want you to try it with both direct and diffused light, and I think you're going to find when you do it with the direct light, you're going to find that you do get shadows, but the light is even because you've got two lights angled at 45 degrees. So when you're setting up your light for the direct light, make sure your shadows are symmetrical like this, but then take another one and the shadows are completely gone. So that's what I would like for you to do this week. Just let me know if you have any questions.